Hello and welcome to what is possibly the first video in a very long time. It has been so long since we've been on the game, never mind making videos for the channel. So I'm going to jump straight in the first race for many months here at Monza, the Temple of Speed, so aptly named because that's what you need here at this track. You need top end speed. Now, as you can see, there's two videos you're currently watching. We're on myself at the minute in the Mustang. Managed to qualify P2, which was not expected. First race back, qualifying P2, did not expect that. And straight away, remembering what happens at Monza at the first chicane. Someone coming from nowhere and sending me off into the shadow realm, and down the grid I go, right back to the back of the grid. Oh well, first race back, we're going to get it, but not to worry, because as you can tell, the video has swapped, and now we're behind John, our other driver here at GT Sports Mates. Again, not been on the game for quite some time, and as you can see, both myself and John extremely rusty. John forgetting where his braking zone was for the second chicane, going across and losing out a couple of positions. Now, like I've said it a few times now, so it's our first race back in quite some time. So when I say rusty, I really mean rusty. Like, just couldn't get to grips with it at all. So the fact we qualified P2, P3 is just a miracle, it's got to be said. But it's not about where you qualify, it's about where you finish. And as rusty as we are, and we're on hard tyres, by the way, which if anyone who's watching that has played this game, you'll know just how bad the hard tyres are, especially on the opening laps, because they're just so cold, they've got no grip. It's extremely difficult to get any power down or grip in the corners. So let's just see how it unfolds over the next 4 laps. Now, going into Parabolica for the first time here, 5 laps, first time round Parabolica, the last one, a very tricky corner indeed. John doing a very good job there, getting the heat into them tyres, but this is where you're going to start seeing John struggle a little bit. We mentioned that it's the Temple of Speed. Why is it called that? Because it's so fast. It's basically 3 chicanes and 3 straights. That is what this track is basically. And if you don't have very good top end speed, you are going to suffer. John is driving this Subaru like a madman. He is doing his absolute utmost to not lose out with the speed deficit, because with every other car on track, John's is probably one of the slowest when it comes to top end speed, but it is extremely good through the corners, and that is where John is going to try his hardest to keep and maintain position, if not go up position. He's in second, first is right ahead of him, and there's a couple of penalties, as you can see, behind him, so they're all going to have to serve them at some point. So John's in a good position here on lap 2, right behind the guy in first place. Even with the speed deficit, John is managing to keep up, which is ideal, because if he falls off just a little bit, he's going to lose that slipstream, which is massive at this track. The slipstream at this track is huge, so John is going to have to do his absolute best to stay behind the guy in front. Skating Pro, as you can see the guy in first. John literally a pixel, I think, over the white line, picking up a half-second penalty. Not what he wanted, and well, not what anyone wanted at this stage, but not what he wanted at all as we approach Parabolica again. Now it has to, you can see his penalties come down a bit. So the rules for this race were the penalty, there wasn't a designated spot to serve the penalty. You just got to wear it down as you're going. So, you know, braking hard into the corners, you'll see that penalty come down. As you've seen, he's lost 2 tenths off it already. So 3 tenths to go. On the long straight down to the first chicane, going a little bit like a semi-attack right there from John, poking his nose out, letting the guy know he's there, but not getting to the point where it was too, the angle was too acute. He wouldn't have got round otherwise. So John doing a very good job here on lap 3 as he comes round the second corner, I suppose, isn't it? 'Cause you've got the chicanes. But yeah, coming up to the second chicane here, looking potentially for a move, but just not quite close enough. But look how close he actually is. Ghosting a little bit, he's that close With full disclosure here, we didn't set up this room. This is just a room we found. So the settings, you know, we had no control over them. Ghosting wasn't actually on, but for some reason, every time cars did get a little bit close, there was a bit of ghosting going on. Not quite sure why, but like I said, we weren't in control of the room. But John making a great move there, the second Lesmo up into first place. And the guy behind, as you can see, in second place, he still has that penalty he needs to get rid of. He's almost got rid of it, as you can see, but he's just ghosted and unghosted at the worst time, which has knocked John clean off track. And John fighting with that Subaru just to keep it on the track. And he's done it somehow. I don't know how he's managed to keep that on track, because where he got hit, accidentally, there was nothing malicious about that. But where he did get hit was just in an absolutely awkward place. A Skating Pro comes from absolutely nowhere down the inside of John, and it looks like he's going to take him out. And well, he has took him out, hasn't he? Straight off John goes. I'm going to plummet down as I come flying past. Almost take John out myself there. Unfortunate for John, gone from first down to sixth place, all thanks to Skating Pro and his dive bomb. Yeah, so unfortunate there for John. Jumping back to myself now on the penultimate lap. Bit of fighting going on up ahead, and it looks like the guy who's just spun out a little bit, he was the guy who took us out in the first lap at the same chicane, so a bit of poetical justice there actually. So that's going to promote me back up into fourth place. We've caught up and overtook, as you can tell. We was in eighth at one point, but yeah, so not too bad actually. Just try to keep my nose clean and, you know, get the laps in. Still rusty, as you can see coming through the second chicane. They're all sorts of wrong going on. But the elbows are out up ahead, as you can see. Someone facing the wrong way, spinning on the track, and that's going to promote us up into third place. Did not see that coming, I'll be completely honest. When I got reset at the first chicane on the first lap, go into the back of the queue, you know, I just assumed, well, you know, if I can catch up, I'd be happy. It's my first race back. But here we are, currently sat P3. We're on the podium. John right behind us. So yeah, so far, not a bad race at all. A welcoming back race for myself and John, and we're currently third and fourth. Can we pick up any more places? Now, the guys ahead of me, you've got Skating Pro, and then you've got, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, unfortunately. I'm just going to call him K. They're battling, as you can see. One of them had a penalty that I think it was Skating Pro, served the penalty around Parabolica. So now, coming round on the penultimate lap to start the final lap, lap 5 of 5. This is all going to come down to how they are ahead of me. If they battle and take each other out, this is looking good for myself and John. John's not that far behind, so if any of these two do go off track and get reset here, this could be big for John. Everyone's taking that corner as carefully as they possibly can, doing all of us getting around there fairly well, nobody wanting to lose position, and so far clean. That's important. Now I know Skating Pro took John out, so you know, cleaning that corner, let's put it that way. He was clean through the first chicane though. Let's hope it continues as they both go very, very defensive into the second chicane, which is going to slow them down so much because that angle is not good. And Skating Pro trying his hardest to push K out of the way, and I figured something wasn't right there. K wasn't going to take that, so I back out a little bit, don't turn into the first Lesmo, as I assumed K would come flying back, and that he did. But they're still fighting through the second Lesmo, and that is going to open up a little bit, and I'm now up into second place on my return race. I have no idea how I ended up in second place. It's just, you know, starting in second, falling down to the last, back up into second on the last lap. Where can we go from here? And out of nowhere, yet again, Skating Pro absolutely comes flying into the picture. Almost takes out myself, almost takes out K in first place. I'm not thinking this guy's up for a clean race. And as you can see, I go to try and overtake him, and he just tries to cut me off straight away. So I'm gonna ease back here. You know, I'm on the podium, I'm happy with that. But what's gonna happen here? Yeah, that's right, you guessed it. Skating Pro goes for another savage lunge into Parabolica. At first, when that happened, I thought, hey, I might get the first. That'd be amazing. But no, it wasn't quite enough to get first place. But a second place on our return, and a fourth for John, and he should have been up here on the podium as well if it wasn't for Skating Pro. So first race back, I'm absolutely made up with that. So we're just gonna have a quick look at what exactly was going on. So Skating Pro here, the guy who took out John, this is coming on to the final lap. So he's made a clean move there on K in second now. Comes down, gets his braking point very well, defends, parks it on the apex perfectly, parks it on the second apex perfectly. So far, fine. He's still in first place. So what happened? I'm right there in the race, and even I was confused as to what happened. I didn't see anything what was going on, so that's why I wanted to go back and actually check what was going on. Skating Pro going very defensive very early, and K in second going defensive against myself, but I decided to not be part of that. And here we go. So the bit of pushing here from Skating Pro. Okay, not exactly ideal defending, but okay. But I think K had had enough at this point, trying to be pushed off. And right there's a bit of contact in the rear bumper of Skating Pro from the guy in first now. Like I said, we're going to call him K. And that's going to send Skating Pro from first to third. So what does he do here? Was this an accident? I don't think it was an accident. Let's have a look as we come into the braking zone. Yeah, that was no accident, was it? He knew what he was doing there. He tried to take him out. I mean, you saw his brake lights come on, and then his brake lights go off as he went straight into the back of the guy first. Now I go, like I said, try to go down the inside. He instantly goes to defend, pushing me a bit wide. I decide to back out. I'm not fighting that. Let's see what he does here. Yep, once again he aimed and he went for it. And I don't know how he hasn't picked up a penalty for either of them. I really don't. But there you go. Some people just can't hack being outdone, can they? But that's it. That's our first race back, and it's just been mind-boggling to think it's been so long since it's been on the game, and to get a decent result was pretty good. Anyway, that's all from us this time. So if you like, give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.